Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Welcome back, baby. We are back with another episode of the Commissioner's Podcast. I'm your host and commissioner, the Gloff Man, Zach McLaughlin, baby. And joining me, the head of the Punishments and Stats Department, Chase Remme. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here this time.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. We're glad to have you. And it's a special episode. Thanks for joining us. We will be revealing all the suggestions for the punishment this year, which, of course, is going to be the loser of the consolation bracket.
Yeah.
It's not automatically the regular season loser because they get relegated.
It's going to suck if it ends up being the person that gets relegated because then you're just getting kicked down twice.
Yeah. But hey, it is what it is.
It
It
is.
is what it is. You risk it to get the biscuit. Sometimes you risk it a little too much and you end up losing. Cough,
I
cough.
mean, you were down there last year, so
Shit, if I don't get a win this week, I'm still down there.
yeah.
But we'll get into that later. Remme, welcome to the pod, man. It's good to have you. Let's just take a look at your team. Chi-Town Bear Down. You know, that's taking a little bit of heat from GFR and the pod, and
hmm
some guys have been skeptical of your squad. So let's talk about your team and where you feel like you are at.
I gotta say, I felt a little bit better before Ayuk went down season ending on that, but
Yeah.
you know what? Next man up type situation, but I feel good with Purdy. He's putting up some good numbers this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the number one reason for trading a Goff, where I was going to get a half decent receiver out of it, and I can flip it around for pick up. I picked up Herbert this week on the waiver wire, be able to use him as the new backup quarterback, just kind of make a few moves like that. Mason and Mixon are new boys to my team, joined last week, and Mixon, thank you very much, Dadbury, came up big for me last week.
Yeah, big
And then just
additions
keep
for
going
you.
down the line. Lockett, St. Brown, Lockett, whatever, St. Brown. A lot of you guys have sent me draft or trade calls for St. Brown, and I've had to turn away a lot of those because A, they were bad, or B, I'm just not getting rid of him at this point with Ayuk out.
Yeah, listen, the receivers are a commodity right now, and I got a lot of them, and no one wants them. So fuck you guys.
Hey,
It's
that was
because
your
no,
draft strategy.
yeah, it's just no one wants to trade a running back. Like people are down to
Yeah.
trade wide receivers for a wide receiver, but I'm like, I don't need a wide receiver, bro.
Mhm.
But I got Nick Chubb, I got David Montgomery. But looking at your team, it's definitely, um, yeah, the Ayuk injury hurts, but the Metcalf injury boosts Lockett up. Mason's gonna be good. Mixon's been good,
Yeah.
and your tight end situation is really good too. Komet, you can kind of pick and choose the matchups for Kelsey and
Yeah.
Komet.
And until Kelsey becomes a consistent performer again, Komet's number 4 right now for a reason. So
Yeah, and St. Brown's been a lot better lately. Had a slow start, kinda, but
yeah, week 1 wasn't great, but after that, it's been picking up.
he's been really good lately. Keenan Allen, the thing with the Bears, I think they're gonna get better. Like they have been getting better. I
Mhm.
just don't know how good of teams defensive they've played up to this point to really gauge how much progression Caleb's had.
Yeah, I think when you look at just him individually as Caleb has gone, week 1 wasn't great, but everyone in the world is watching you as the number 1 pick, that you got to do something special here and live up to the expectation. There's high expectations there. Didn't quite live up to it week 1, but every week since has just been a steady progression, getting better. Lines giving him more time to throw. It's just gotten better week to week.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I think there's room for Keenan Allen to be good. He just hasn't been as healthy the
Yeah.
earlier part of the season, so he's still kind of adjusting.
He's
Think
through that foot injury, so unless something else pops up from now, I think he should be pretty good the rest of the year.
yeah, he's got 11 targets in the last two games. Did have two touchdowns last week. Doesn't really seem like he's a big yards guy. Seems like he's more of kind of like get in the slot, be a safety valve, be a
Yeah.
threat in the red zone, which is beneficial because the touchdown production is there. So
Yes.
you'll take that because you got DJ Moore and you got Odunze to kind of chew up those the middle part of the field.
Hmm.
But I think those two running backs really helped you because you can kind of now pick and choose who you want to play based on matchups and then just trust your running backs and St. Brown to kind of carry a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't mind Eckler off the bench either. He gets a lot of targets out of the backfield, so I can slot him at running back if I really need to as well.
Mm-hmm. Maybe at a flex. So let's see. You are 4-3. 758 points scored.
Not great,
694
not great on the
points
points for.
against. But two-game winning streak. Two-game winning streak here. I believe you're either in a playoff position, or you're just out. Let me check.
I believe I am. I believe I'm in there.
Yes. Okay. Low-key, I would make playoffs right now if it was for today
Hmm.
at 3-4. That's just because of how many points I'm scoring. So that's like the one thing that I'm happy about. But looking at kind of the rest of the season, before we get into the fun punishment stuff, how do you kind of foresee some of these, the rest of the season playing out as far as like who's gonna keep rising,
Keep
who's a
rising up.
pretender, who's a fluke. You know what I mean?
I gotta say that this league has been really interesting this year. Kyle jumped out to that big 5-0 start. He's fallen back
Yeah,
down to 5-2.
two in a
I'm
row.
about one that you guys said it on the pod the one week. I was about one Kelsey catch, about 6 yards for Kelsey, and I could be up at 5-2 also having beat Dylan that week. So I think there's call for a lot of teams in this league can win on any given weekend.
Yeah,
And man, I think it's just gonna be cutthroat the rest of the way. I don't know if anyone is a standout. Oh, that I can't remember who was it last year that was like our standout number one. Like you had the number one record. I think Dylan was it, right?
yeah. I think it was Dylan or maybe Middleman.
I think one of them was up there, but
Yeah,
regardless, I don't think we're gonna have that standout number one. I think number one is gonna be fighting all the way to the end to claim that number one seed, and the last guys in are gonna be fighting up to the last week also.
yeah. I mean, dude, it's really close. I mean, because Will's teams haven't been like, I mean, he's been jabroni of the week 2 weeks in a row, but I think he needs one guy to come back from injury. Debo Samuel really let him down.
I think his schedule hasn't been the biggest help either, though. He's ran into a handful of guys that put up some pretty good weeks that even
Yeah,
if
so I
he had
mean,
a good week, it would have been tough.
yeah, so it's just, and I mean that shit. I'm running into the same problem. I'm having good weeks, and fucking, guys are putting up 140, 150 on me. It's just sucks, man. Every single guy's getting 20 points. I'm like, fuck.
That's how I felt last year. Last year I had like what 200 more points allowed than everybody else in the league, and still put up a pretty good record. But I can't imagine what my record would have been last year if I didn't have those against me.
Seriously, man, it's a tough reality sometimes, man. This game can really get under your skin. As
Hmm.
as a manager, you especially when you make the right moves, you do everything you can in your power, and it's just still not enough. It's frustrating. But that's why we play the
Definitely.
game. That's why we play the game.
That's why it's not played on paper. Our guys got to go out and perform.
Yep, exactly. They got to go out and show out. Um, yeah. So okay, let me ask you this: Who
Mhm.
do you think is going to be our loser this year? Both relegation and bracket, or are they the same person?
I don't think it'll be the same person. I think just off of a little bit of luck on that, and I'll also come back to that. I have an idea that I A want to pitch to you, and B uh, it might be an idea going forward on how we're gonna run the punishment type of the bracket with the consolation. But
Hmm.
um, me personally, I think Will has got those points on Cade, about 80 points or some odd points difference there. I think Will can squeak one win here or there somewhere. I think it's going to be Cade. And I think it would be really interesting if they end on the same amount of wins and it comes back to him having played Engram for 3 weeks when he got him 0 points. Could that be
Yeah,
enough points that if he had played somebody else,
because
that's what would have kept him
yeah,
in?
and he had the backup to the Jaguars, and he had some good weeks too. So I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure it would have been, or close to it, maybe close to it, but it could come back to him. Could come back to down. That's how
Yeah.
close this game comes down to sometimes.
And I'm going to stand by. I think Will's going to be our glutton for punishment here again. I feel like it's going to be him getting the punishment in the bracket, though.
He's gonna not get through the bracket unscathed, and he'll have to do the
Mm.
punishment. That would be so brutal, so
What would it be,
brutal.
3 and 4 years?
Yeah, that would be so brutal for the kid. But man, it's close. I mean, it really just takes an injury for someone above him to kind of put them into a spiral. You know
Yep,
what I'm saying? But this is a crucial time. This little middle part of the season. It's like you got to squeak out as many wins as you can, or you're in
definitely.
trouble. So I am dying for a win. But before we get into some of the matchups,
Mhm.
let's just do a little breakdown from last week. What was your game like last week?
Let me pull it up on my end as well here.
Yeah,
Do, do, do.
because I believe, yep, you got the win.
Yep, I got the win. I think I've had a few of these this year where I just ran into a guy on a really bad week. And that's just the luck of the draw as it comes to it as well. But
Yeah,
a bad week from Shroud. Uh, Running
yeah,
out Stevenson and Douglas for New England wasn't great for Marcus. Um,
yeah.
not a great week
Dalton,
all around there.
yeah, Dalton Schultz Stroud combo was no bueno.
Hmm.
Basically, his whole bench outscored his team.
Yeah, and it bailed me out a little bit on Ayuk going out with his injury, Kelsey being Kelsey at this point this year. I had to play Kelsey though with the Bears being on the bye,
Mm-hmm.
coming back from London, so I didn't have a choice there. Eckler didn't get the targets as soon as um, Daniels went out with his rib injury. I feel like the rookie quarterbacks like checking down a bunch, and
Yeah,
so he didn't quite get the targets that he normally gets.
yeah. And then you got the Mixon and St. Brown to really push you over the top with a
Yeah.
good
Even Purdy had a
performance.
good week. He threw 3 picks and still put up 17.
Yeah, two rushing touchdowns helps. Um, and then Philly D 16, Justin Tucker 13 propelled you to a win.
Yep.
And then this week, man, running to Dylan who put up 158 points. Just every single person on his team except one put up like 20.
Let's see. Going over. Yeah, I think when you're up against 160 points right there, like it's almost impossible to overcome. I don't think you're ever going to get two teams in a week with 160 plus, and
Yeah, man.
you just got
It's
to tip your
just
cap, move on.
yeah, it sucks. I am happy with how my team's playing. Kyler Murray getting a lot of rushing touchdowns. I don't
Tank
know
and Brown getting
this
you
week.
20 plus is great.
Yep, and then Garrett Wilson, Pitts, Amari Cooper all getting 13 plus.
Yeah.
That's nice, man. I just need a little bit more production from the kicker.
Yeah, McPherson with the missed field goal on there.
Yeah, and it was a
I mean
50
that
yarder. It was a 50 yarder too, man. It would have been
so that's a six
big.
point swing because of the
Yeah,
-1.
yeah. So I mean, still don't win, but
Yeah.
puts me up above. It puts me at 130.
And that's a respectable. I think even 125 is respectable, but even
Yeah.
130 would be like you're winning most weeks.
Mm-hmm. But that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I'm not gonna be discouraged by it though. Like the points are there,
Yeah.
the performances are there. It's just fucking these other guys are putting up massive numbers.
I mean, look at Middleman in the first 3 weeks. If he
Yeah,
had played me any of the first 3 weeks, he would have beat me, and he started 0-3. He ran into some good guys in those first few weeks that just put up good numbers.
yeah. But speaking of Middleman, the battles of the Spencers went down,
Yeah.
and he took the win by two. Close game,
I really
112
thought
to 110.
Dadbury was going to pull it back out there at the end.
Yeah, James Conner had a chance, and McBride as well. Just couldn't quite overcome it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying
Kirk
to take a
only
look.
getting the one reception did not help him.
Yeah, man,
But
Kirk's
I think
been
everybody
ass.
else kind of showed up. Johnson didn't, but
I just at one point you got to stop being a homer. You know what I mean? Christian Kirk, bro.
I mean, you're saying that to me, but yeah.
Yeah, but Cole Kmet's been balling at least.
And the defense is one of the
Christian
top in the
Kirk,
league, so
let's look. Christian Kirk is averaging 9 points a game,
I think that's valid.
and he benched him over Khalil Shakir, who's averaging 11, and his recently uh, running back he just traded for, Rashad White.
I mean, it also came out of his flex. Like, yeah, had White been in there, Shakir. If
If you,
Olave had been healthy, like you probably play him in that over Kirk, to be fair. But
yeah. So hopefully you get Olave back in there, and you can stop.
also Dowell was on the bye week. Maybe you slot him in over Kirk if you had the option there.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe would have leaned Kirk even then, just because the receiver. But
I don't know, man. That offense is basically Evan Ingram and that rookie Brian Thomas.
yeah,
Those
he's a
guys.
really big surprise for me this year. I didn't see him come.
Yeah, he's been balling out. But he takes the L. He moves to 4-3. Purdy moves up to 3-4.
There's a lot
Um,
of those. There's a lot of 4-3s and a lot of 3-4s.
yeah, basically, yeah, a lot of so many guys. Obviously, Will Jabroni of the week, 75 points, takes the L to Clint, 117. And Clint's kind of an underdog team here, man. 5-2, and his team is just like you wouldn't expect him to be balling out like this. Like,
I don't think I beat him in the 2 years that he's been in the league. I think I lost to him both once or twice last year. I lost to him in week one this year. And he's just got some sneaky teams. Like you always say, my teams are sneaky. I
yeah,
think, and he's right there also.
yeah, like he's dealing with the whole Mark Andrews and Laporta not being very good. Overcoming that, he's got Jonathan Taylor hurt, Shaheed is hurt, and he finds a way with Jameer Gibbs, 34 points, Josh Allen, 21 points. He had Godwin, so now that's a big loss for him.
Yeah.
Now his receivers are very, very thin. He's got
And he
Cortland
had
Sutton,
Sutton who had 0 points
yeah,
that week.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jerry Judy, Gabe Davis. Like,
As the
come.
Browns fan, how do you think Judy's been doing for you guys? I didn't get to watch him play at all.
Uh, he's getting open. The problem is that the quarterback's play has been so bad that the ball just hasn't gone his way, and then like when it finally does, he's just not ready for it. Like he kind of
Sure.
has that same Judy shit where he would drop it
Yeah.
just because he got lulled to sleep because of how bad the offense was.
Hmm.
Now there's no excuse now. The quarterback play should be better, and with Cooper gone, you got to step up. So there's
Yes.
really no excuse. So he either has to step up and start playing good, or he's a bust for sure. But I mean, I think it's possible he's had moments where you're like, "Damn, Jerry Judy," but that's kind of been Jerry Judy's story. Is you're like, "Damn,
I
he's
think
low
so
key
too.
sick," but then it's like, "Oh, he's low key sucks though." But
But
Clint gets the win. McPherson fan club, Willie, the meme team, at
yep,
one and
feeling
six.
bad for him on his six. You know what those lost losing streaks are like. I think
Yeah, once you see that number get around 5, 6, 7, you just start feeling a pit of depression. So reach out to Will. Just check on him, boys. Check on him. All right, make sure he's doing all right because it's a tough sledding for the kid.
Hmm.
Um, big brain cell matchup this week, and Jake comes out on top on that one,
Yeah,
129-102. Just not a good week for Barry's boys, Kyle.
yeah. And he got 129 with Daniels missing what half the game, I think, left with the rib injury
Yeah, I
right around
think he.
halftime, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It was probably earlier than that. It was probably like early second quarter.
Okay. Let's
But
see.
Jeff
Everybody else came together though. 17
Daniel
points from your
Walker.
kicker.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. I got to upgrade the kicker. Find a guy that's doing good. And he's got Marvin Harrison on the bench. He's Marvin Harrison's been so but hit or miss. But
Let's see. Game log for him. Yeah, I mean, he had those 3 good weeks and then kind of just
yeah,
non-existent. Had a week where he only had 2 targets against
he
Green
did
Bay.
that. Green Bay, he did get hurt. He had to come out of the
Okay,
game.
that one. Oh, you're right. He did get hurt that week.
But you're right though. It's still tough. But he's getting the targets. But Jake's got he's got T Higgins, McLaurin, Jefferson. He doesn't have to rush him into the lineup.
Definitely.
Um, so he feels good there. Jake's definitely one of those like you said, dude. Everyone's got a good team.
Yeah.
For the most part. Some people are banged up. Some people have to deal with injuries and whatnot. But it's fucking hella competitive. Every week is a fucking grind.
It's really interesting. You look at a lot of guys that got 2 or 3 good receivers and you just look at their ranks and you're like, why is this guy ranked so low in points? He's a great receiver. And then you look, oh yeah, he missed 1 game or he missed a half of 1 game or whatever. And so that tanks the rankings on it. Like Mixon
Mm-hmm.
is the case for me. He's like 15th or something in running backs, but he's missed 3 games. Imagine if he had been that playing those 3, he would be so much higher up right
Yeah, I have like that's my case with AJ Brown. Is on average, if you just do the average points,
now.
AJ Brown's number one at receiver right now.
Damn,
He's got 20 plus. He averages 20 plus. But he
solid.
but he missed 3 weeks, so
Yeah.
it's like damn.
What could have
Um,
been?
yeah, exactly. But uh, last matchup from last week: Chef Boy HC Hunter taking on Manfred's Big Cade and Hunter 3 game win streak here.
Yeah.
Um, tied with Clint to be the longest active streak right now. 141 to 84. It was just a blowout from the beginning.
I mean, 141 and you had a tight or a receiver, I mean, go 0 points. Like that you had a good week that week. You were eating good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the running back trio he's got there, man. 27 from Barkley, 23 from Kenneth Walker, 22 from Kareem Hunt.
Gotta
Ridiculous.
say too, you gotta when you're up like that and you got a good lead, it's almost like you don't want some of your running backs to score in that situation or receivers to even score because it's like they're only going to score so many touchdowns throughout the year. You want them all to hit in 1 week when you're already having a comfortable win.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Me personally, I just want to score as many points as I can. Fuck it.
fair. I mean, that's very fair, but in my mind, I was like, okay, if some of my guys are going to score in a few weeks, I'm okay as long as I can just pull out the W this week.
That's true. That's true. It always is nice to win if you without scoring a bunch of touchdowns.
Yeah.
But that's the wrap up for week 7. So good solid week for most guys. So the guys not so much, but better luck next week.
Hey, we
Now
got
let's
the whole second half. Second half starts today.
yeah, and so now let's dive right into the reason we're all here. The reason everyone's tuning in. Yes, the breakdowns are fun and you guys love just listening to me talk because you guys are obsessed with me. All right? But we're here and Remy, I'm gonna let you just take it away here
All right.
because this is your department. You're the head guy here. Take us through what the process here.
So before we go into what the punishments are, Kamish, I do want to run one thing by you real quick here. Is I was checking on how the consolation bracket shakes out through ESPN and how they set it up. So the way it looks to me, they set it up is 9 plays 10, 11 plays 12 in that first week, instead of kind of what we would want is like a 9 versus 12, 10 versus 11, just kind of like the seating goes weird there. I
Hmm.
want to run this by you. Should we do all four teams are playing each other in some respect? The top two scores from the consolation bracket week one are safe, and then the other two are facing each other the week after. That way you kind of get a little bit of an extra chance to avoid the punishment.
I kind of like that.
It fixes the seeding problem, and it gives some guys the extra chance that, oh, I ran into a really good guy in week 15, but my team was the second best. It kind of avoids that disaster and forcing a punishment for a good week.
I like it. I like it. You have my vote, so let's put it to an official vote.
Okay.
Um,
So if anyone didn't understand that, I'll run an official vote on this in the chat at some point after the episode comes out. But if you don't understand what I just said, hit me, DM me. I'll let you know. I'll break it down again.
yeah, just from my knowledge, it sounds like it's just like a battle royale. All four
Yeah.
teams are playing each
The
other
first week of the
essentially.
playoffs, those four are going at each other.
The
The
top
top two
two
scores are safe.
advance.
Next week, it's those last two remaining against each other. Whether ESPN says they're playing each other or not, we as ourselves can look at the scores and determine that.
And let me ask you this: are we doing a combined score from week one and week two,
I
or
would say I would lean towards no. I would lean towards a reset and just head-to-head matchup in week 16.
now let me ask you this: what if we did that? We did it that way, where we just do both weeks. We combine all of your scores. The top two scorers or the top three scorers are
Mm-mm.
safe, and then whoever just scores the least amount of points in those 2 weeks combined is the loser.
The consolation does go for three rounds though, because the bracket is 3 rounds, so we could just do lowest score over the 3 weeks from all four teams.
Um,
Could just
how
do
would that
lowest score.
how would that work?
Just add up everybody's scores
Oh,
from those 3 weeks,
yeah,
and that
lowest
way
score.
nobody's just automatically safe from either of the weeks. Just
Yeah,
lowest
like
score across the 3 weeks.
hmm I think that'd be maybe the best way to do it. That way, it's like no one could be like, "Oh, well, I just got a bad matchup." Well,
Okay. We now got two options. I'll run it out to you guys. We can run it either way, but I'll put it to a vote on one of those two options and we can go from there.
I don't know. That sounds like a dope idea, though.
All right.
Thanks for bringing it
Now,
up.
the real fun part and why we are all here. Got a few new submissions, one old one, and then I brought back the oldie but goodies that were our finalists that are not Top Golf from last year. So
Nice.
to remind everyone here, the two finalists that were last year but didn't win was Mud Run in a Dress and the Waffle House Challenge. I think both those two pretty self-explanatory to everyone in this league. I don't think I need to explain those much further. But the one also that was resubmitted was the 24-hour personal servant. That one was resubmitted again. That was on the vote last year as well. So again, not much to explain there when those three we all saw on the ballot last year,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone should know in theory what's going on. Now, we got some new ones, and these are the ones I'm really excited about because I think there's some pretty fun ones in here. The first one that I'd like to throw out there is the the one that we've seen on social media a bunch. You got to take the ACTs.
All
I
right.
don't think the person who submitted it did not say, "Oh, you need to take it till you reach a certain score." I think it was just you got to take it and you got to show up that day in whatever school, and you got to show up to take the ACT.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we can follow that up with the other new another new one is the headlamp puzzle is what I'll call it. Basically, we're gonna put you in a dark room, 300-piece puzzle with just a headlamp. Can't come out until you finish it.
That's awesome.
I do
That's
like that one. That one could be a winner right there. Another submission was I don't think this is a bad submission. I just think there's better ones out there. Was you got to eat 50 hot dogs in a week, and there's got to be documentation to you actually eating all 50 hot dogs in some way, whether you're videoing them, you're taking photos of them. It's got to make it to the group chat that you eat 50 in a week. I don't know. I don't know how many guys in this league they can stomach 7 hot dogs a day.
I could.
I think you could.
What
Um,
what would you make better on that? That was my submission.
I wouldn't say anything better about that one specifically. I just think there's maybe better ideas that I've seen on social media that would have been better than that type of a submission, but I don't think it's a bad submission. I just think there may have been a slightly better idea there.
I feel you. I feel
So,
you.
another one that I find creative is last year's one for Topgolf was a nice get together for everybody. Sadly, I couldn't attend being up here in Seattle, but from what it sounds like, it was a nice get together for everyone. This one is another get together for everyone that everyone gets together. You can invite whoever you want. And our punishment is going to be telling a comedy show for 15 to 20 minutes. I think that would be really fun. I mean, imagine if that one's Will. Will's going to have a great time being the comedian up there. I think he could tell a hell of a comedy show whether it's the punishment or not. I think Will's got a
Yeah.
good comedy bit.
Oh, I'm sure he could come up with something.
I think so.
That's
Now,
fantastic.
the two that I'm really excited about, I think these two could be winners here, or at least finalists. The first one is the beer marathon. So the
Yes.
way this one was submitted to me was you're going to have to go run a marathon. Whoever the punishment is, you're running a marathon. For every beer you drink, that's one less mile that you have to run. So 26.2 miles in a marathon. You're going to have to drink 26 beers if you want to avoid everything, or I guess you'd still have to run 2/10 of a mile. But um, yeah, you're going to have to drink a number of beers and you got to drink them on the course while
Oh
it's
my
going on.
god.
That one's going to be difficult. That's
That's
going to be tough.
crazy. That's a crazy one.
I mean, if you just split that down the middle, 13 beers and you still have to run 13 miles,
At that
that
point, you gotta just risk it and get blacked out drunk and drink fucking 26 of them motherfuckers.
I I
And
think you either just
honestly,
got
you
to
have to
run,
do 27. You have to do 27 just to put
yeah,
it over the top.
or I mean, or you just run 2/10 of a mile and then just start drinking.
Oh, that's true. That could help.
I guess that's one way you could do it,
Or you could just be like, okay, run as many miles as you can to start.
and then
Like,
just pound.
take like maybe you get like 3 miles down, and then you could take down like 23 instead.
I mean,
Either
up to
way,
that
it's not.
person's
It's
discretion
your
on their own
decision. Yeah,
strategy.
it's your discretion.
You're still going to be the one doing it. We're not going to tell you how to do it. You can come up with your own strategy, but the number is going to equal 26.2 one way or another.
That's crazy, bro.
So, and the final one that I'm excited about, and I think when I brought it to your attention briefly in text messages, this one is going to be a fun one because it actually results in a bonus podcast episode. Um, this one is going to be the Hot Ones Challenge, essentially.
Yes.
Our glorious commissioner here is going to sit and ask some questions. We'll have to come up with um, some ideas on where the questions come from. That was not part of the submission, but we can come up with a way that questions get submitted, and our glorious commissioner here is going to be the one walking us through the punishment of a person having to go sit there, eat some hot sauces. I think the discretion was that they can choose their food of choice, but the sauces are going to get hotter and hotter as we go. And our commission is
Yes.
going to be asking some spicy questions at the same time.
Yes. I like that one. That one would be fun. I have to interview myself. That'd be crazy.
I think we're bringing in Will or somebody to do that one at that point.
All right. Is that all of them?
That is all of them. If anybody has any questions about them, again, throw them in the chat. I'll answer them. But I'm gonna over the next about week or so, I'm gonna start DMing guys. The process is gonna be the same as last year. I'm gonna ask you for your top 5 in order. So number one is going to get 5 points. Number five is going to get 1 point. The three with the most points after that first round of after everyone's voted, that first round of voting, the top three candidates going to move on to that final vote. I'm going to ask you all again to vote on those three, and the one that comes away with the winner is going to be the one we did, just like we did last year.
And man, I love this list. I think it's a way better list than last year. So
Hmm.
shout out to the boys for getting creative. I love it. I'll do better next year with mine. But man, there are some good ones in there. I'll tell you what, it's gonna
I
be
think
hard to choose. It's gonna be hard to
which
choose.
which three do you think are going to be the finalists?
Oh, I love the headlamp puzzle. I think that one needs to be one. I think that the um the comedy show needs to be one, and I think the beer marathon needs to be one.
Okay. Yeah, I
That'll be
think I think I
mine.
like the hot ones, the beer marathon, and the headlamp puzzle as well.
Yeah, that shit is that's pretty funny, man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Shout out to the individual that submitted the headlamp puzzle. That was a good one. When I saw it in my DMs on that, I got a good chuckle out of that one.
That one's gonna be hilarious. Um, well, hell yeah, there you have it. The Office of Punishments and Stats breaking us down, getting us going for the punishment. Tune
Mhm.
in, boys. Tune in. Make sure you get your votes in. All right, Rem Dog's gonna be hitting you up. It's important that we get everyone votes. It's a democracy, despite what all of you think. It is a democracy.
We try anyways. We try.
Exact. Yeah. Yeah. But let's take a little preview on the upcoming matchups. Week 8. Some pretty. Everyone's kind of facing a tough battle. Everyone that's kind of trying to climb back into the ranks are
Hmm.
facing like a tough matchup, right? Like me and Kate are fighting, facing off. Like I feel like that's a tough battle for each other. Like kind of a trap game. You feel like Cades hasn't had a lot of success, but he's got good players that you're kind of scared of. Jaden Waddle getting to a back. Zay Flowers, is he going to play? If he plays, he could have a good game.
I mean, there's only two
Both running
matchups
backs.
that have guys with more than 2 wins separating them. It's a lot of
Yeah.
it's a lot of close teams. Those matchups are Clint Marcus and then Dadbury and Will are the only ones that got those wider gaps in wins, and I gotta say those matchups should still be close. Also,
Yeah, Gus Johnson trying to get back into it, facing a hot Clint team, but Clint's banged up a little bit. He's got some question marks, so it could be a week that Marcus does get a win.
yeah,
You're trying to, better your ranking, going up against 5-2 Barry,
man, it's
Tyreek.
tough looking down the projection of 140 points.
Yeah, I mean, Tyreek Hill's getting that bump because Tua's back. So, not officially. He's on
Yeah,
his way back. They suspect he'll be back. He's got Jawan Jennings, Kittle. He just traded for CeeDee Lamb.
hmm
So the team looks good over there, but you feel like you stack up. Do you feel like you can stack up and get a win here?
I feel like I can. I don't think I will. I'll start with that. I don't think I will get a dub this week, but I think it's a double-edged sword when you're projected for 140 points like Kyle is. Your team is popping off. Your team's expected to go. If your team doesn't, that's the dead opposite is what's going to happen to your score. You're going to plummet down a little bit. I feel like if your team doesn't live up to those expectations, it opens the door for my team to come in if they just put up the numbers they should.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 120 plus for you projection.
Yeah.
So, um, you're just saying hopefully I can play to projection, and then he's thinking he's has to play to projection. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of psychological warfare there. I get that, but yeah, that's a tough matchup for both of you guys. Um, Jake and Hunter are facing off. This could be what a matchup of the week potentially here.
Very
Um,
potentially.
both of them are pretty hot, have good squads, and for the most part they're healthy and no bye weeks for them. So
I am seeing on Hunters, it's got Hawkinson as is that Yep, it's showing out for Hawkinson, so he's gonna have to flip that around for his tight end. Is Fryermuth his only tight end on the bench? Looks like.
Yeah, Hawkinson I think is supposed to play. They haven't necessarily activated him yet,
Okay.
but they think he's gonna play Thursday night. So I think that's what. And then if yeah, I think he would just throw Firemuth in if need be.
I mean, I don't know whether, like you said, if they've activated him or not. If Hawkinson's projection is playing into the 120 that Hunter's projected, but Fryermuth, that's like another 8 points projected. It says that matchup's even closer. That both guys going for about 130 if that's the case.
Yeah, that'll be a one to tune into if you're a big fantasy football guy. I know I will be. Um, but um, let's
And
take
you're
a
up next on my screen here.
yeah. I'm taking on Cade here, so I need a win, man. I gotta find a win this week. Um, could be tough.
I got the projection on your side. Cade's dealing with three guys that are questionable. I think that's tough to overcome.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that my guys just put the points up, to make sure there's no chance of him, having a chance to beat me. I think
Yeah,
if I
and I
could
mean
put
you
up,
just got Chubb back too, so
yeah, I feel good about that. Um, so and I think get Cup back. I think I'm gonna roll with Cup this week, Thursday night. I think I gotta just take advantage of him when he's there because he's gonna be a target hog, and he may not be healthy all the time, but let's just take advantage of him when he's here because he's gonna get those targets.
are you worried about him being dealt at the deadline to somebody else?
I think the only thing I'm worried about is his health. Like he's gonna, if someone's trading for him, they're probably going to utilize him, whether it's the Chiefs or I'm not sure who else they have marked up for him. But if someone's trading for him, they're trying to use him, so I'm not going to be too upset. And if he sucks with that new team, then I got plenty of guys to fill in,
Yeah.
so I'm not too worried. But I think with right now with the Rams, his connection with Stafford, their team's been pretty bad. Stafford's going to pepper him. If he's back, he's going to get targets. So
I feel like I saw a report that said Stafford was being looked at by the Vikings also.
yeah, I saw that too. So that could implode
That
as
could make
well.
it interesting. My North Division is it's tough this year. Everybody's above 500, 2 games above 500. The Vikings want to go all in on Stafford. That's tough.
Man, that would be a wild turn of events, I'll tell you.
Hmm.
Um, but another close matchup here. Dylan taking on Middleman. Purdy's taking on
Yeah.
Big Daddy D here. Um, close 2 points projection separate them. 127, 125, less than 2 points.
Looking like everybody's healthy too.
Everyone's healthy, except for maybe Metcalf on Dylan's side, but he's got Pickens to slide in there.
Yep. Looks like he's already done that too on his.
Yep. So
Yeah.
he's gonna roll double tight
That's
end.
gonna be another good matchup. That's in terms of competitiveness, that might be even closer than what we were just saying a minute ago as team as matchup of the
Yeah.
week. That might be right there.
Yeah. I think Dylan's got the edge though. I just Bo Nix. Granted, it's Carolina, but Darnell Mooney, Romeo Dobbs starting. I don't know. We'll see.
It's
We'll
gonna be a
see.
good one regardless.
It's gonna be a slobber knocker for sure. And the last matchup, Will taking on the other Spencer Bradbury. Um, Will's got an uphill battle, man. Is
Yeah.
Jayden Reed? I don't know if Debo Samuel's playing, and if not,
If those two aren't playing, like what's left for him? He's got Rome.
he's got
Is it Rome and
Odunze,
Addison are these only guys? I mean, I guess he could slot someone else into the flex, but
Mostert.
could go Mostert there. He's got Rome. Man, I swear, if anyone else on his team gets hurt, like that's just brutal. I don't think if anyone else is capable of getting hurt on his team, it's quite literally him. It's not even any of his players.
Yeah,
That's
it's
how bad the injury bug is.
yeah, but Bradbury's known to have some duds, man.
Had
Last,
one against me.
he's had a few jabroni of the week, so he's got to put up the points. His team's got to score. But I think the trio of Hall, Connor, and Rashad White is pretty good for him. And then Olave coming back should be should be solid. So
Question is just can Rashad keep doing what he's done the last week and what he did last season? Because the beginning of this year, he wasn't quite living up to that standard.
yeah, he definitely had. But I think just with both those injuries to the wide receivers, there's just going to be a
Hmm.
bigger demand. He's probably going to run more routes. He's probably going to be involved in the passing game a little bit more. So I think it helps him out. But that's kind of where we're at. Week 8 on tap. Good matchups all the way across. I think it's going to be a really good week.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And if this is how the last half of the year is going to shape up, I don't know who's in the playoff picture. We know Cade and Will are kind of fighting to stay in the league, but who knows? They could pull off a few wins, and one of those 3-win teams is now sitting down there.
yeah, man, that's what I'm worried about. I'm not comfortable where I'm at. Only one win separates me from Cade, and only 2 from Will. Lost 4 in a row. I need a win, man. And I face Cade, so if I lose to Cade, then me and him are right in the
Right
same
back
boat.
into it.
So I
Well,
want to make sure I can get a win this week.
as Office of Punishment and Stats, I done a little bit of research onto this and looked at our previous years of this league. Most years, the last place team, in order to avoid being last place, you needed about 4 wins most of the years. So I think if you can get to that fourth, definitely that fifth win. I don't know if everyone can even get to anywhere close to that based on matchups and everything. But
Hmm.
if you get to 4, you should feel fairly safe. You get to 5, you should definitely be safe.
Yeah, man, I really want to get there. I need to get to 4 this week. It's because I'd like to make the playoffs. I'd like to make a run. I like my team, man.
Mhm.
I just need to start actually winning some games and in a big moment. So
Bright lights are the brightest right now.
yep. So we gotta buckle down, get some damn wins. So, but let's just what do you got a hot take? You got a hot take for the upcoming week?
You know, let me see. Let me look around the NFL this week. I'm not sure in fantasy if I got a hot take, but let me look around the league for a second and see who might be playing who that is going to come up with something here. Um, we'll say disappointed to see Daniels might not be playing against the Bears because that was going to be a good matchup of the rookie QBs that probably could have been NFC Rookie of the Year type matchup that could be the deciding factor type thing.
Yeah, that would have been fun to see. That would have been fun to see. Yeah, I just don't think Daniels is gonna play though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Um, how you feeling about the Ravens and Browns this week? I mean, it's an in division. I feel like NFC North or AFC North, every divisional matchup, everybody's no matter how bad a team has been playing recently,
I would not be surprised if we win. It wouldn't surprise me one bit that we replace the quarterback and then all of a sudden we start winning football games. I would not
just
be
start piecing
surprised.
it together right now.
Yeah, man. Like I would not be surprised at all. And let's see, we're home. We got Chubb back. The fans are gonna be fucking pumped. This team should feel rejuvenated, whether they like to admit it or not. They're feeling the gain of Chubb way more than they're feeling the loss of Dickhead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, hopefully, who knows though? It's the Browns. Anything can happen. Fuck it.
I think I got one prediction and then I got a more bold prediction. I just was scrolling through here. I think my bold prediction will be that the Niners absolutely blitz the Cowboys again. Cowboys get blown out again in another game. And Jerry gets to go on another rant on the radio like he did last time. But the bold one, the really bold one, I think the Raiders might be able to beat the Chiefs. Chiefs have looked beatable this year. And again, another one of those in division ones that no matter who it is, games are close.
Yeah, Max Crosby, Pat Mahomes. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I think for me, I think man, that's a tough one. I guess I kind of said I wouldn't be surprised if we win this week. I don't want to necessarily put too much weight behind it, but um, I'll say this: Kyle Pitts touchdown this week.
Okay.
Kyle Pitts touchdown this week.
He's looked pretty good this year in terms of what we've seen out of him the last few years being disappointing. I think this year's been a step up in some ways.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Remy, the head of stats and punishment department, thank you for joining us. It's been an awesome week.
It's been an honor coming back and being on the podcast again.
Yeah, man. The pod is it's glad to have you, and we look forward to seeing how the Chi-Town Bear Down squad plays out rest of the way.
It's gonna
Um,
be fun. I'm excited for this. Making the playoffs again. Me and Dadbury every year. We gotta make the playoffs, baby.
I gotta get back into my run. I gotta get back into it. I gotta get back.
Hey, we missed you last year.
Um,
You can't be a
I
part of the
know.
club anymore.
I know. I just need one of you guys to bail out so I can, maybe both of you. Just got something in my eye all of a sudden. But anyway, that's been this episode of the Commissioners Podcast. Join us next week as we will break down all the garbage we just talked about and more.
Later, boys.